So, have you ever really stopped to consider the stories we tell ourselves? About where we come from?
The origin stories.
Exactly. Not just personally, but like as a whole civilization. How much they shape who we actually are.
They're incredibly powerful, yeah.
Foundational, really.
Well, what if one of the biggest stories for, say, Western civilization?
Yeah.
What if there was this little-known version that kind of flips things on its head?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. We've got these fascinating excerpts from a text called Eve, and also a reflection piece that goes with it.
Okay.
And our mission really is to unpack them, see what surprising details pop up, and maybe get some profound insights into how this particular story might still be shaping things for us.
And it's quite a unique setup for sources, isn't it? You've got this dialogue, almost Eve speaking directly.
Right, it feels very immediate.
And then this analysis piece looking at the bigger picture, it gives us this, a really fresh perspective on themes we think we know inside out. Totally. It encourages you to look, again, maybe from a new angle. So this whole journey, it starts somewhere unexpected. Not with the fall, not really. It starts with Eve describing heaven.
Okay, what's it like in this version?
She calls it a truly wonderful, amazing, infinitely kind and loving picture, like beautiful surroundings, trees, flowers, and the wildlife is tame and friendly.
Sounds pretty perfect.
It does. She even mentions birds that sing to us, bop up to us, and take food from our fingers. And get this, foxes, wolves, and lions that come and cuddle up to us.
Wow. Okay, so absolute harmony, no danger, no fear.
Zero. It sounds completely idyllic. So starting there with this infinite kindness, what does that immediately signal about this story compared to, say, more traditional takes?
That's a great question. Because it sets a very different baseline, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Most origin stories, they have some inherent tension or imperfection right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Or, a clear setup for temptation leading to a fall.
Right, the standard narrative.
But here, it's already perfect.
Yeah.
So Eve's first big question to God, it doesn't come from sin or wanting something forbidden. It seems to come from, well, pure curiosity.
Innocent curiosity.
It seems that way. She says she and some friends were just chatting, and they had this idea. What if some of us went off somewhere? By ourselves, alone, not forever.
Okay.
And she suggests, say, for about 100 years. That's not long, considering eternity. The driver seems to be this desire for an adventure, something unpredictable, beautiful, but challenging.
So not running from something, but running towards something different.
Exactly. It suggests that even in total bliss, there might be this inherent human, maybe yearning is the word, for novelty, for growth, for something beyond just, well, static perfection.
That's a fascinating reframe. Curiosity, not rebellion. And God's reaction is just as interesting.
Right. He doesn't shut it down.
Not at all. He actually says there is such a place. I'm creating it at the moment. It's not yet complete. But he's also very upfront about the downsides.
He lays it out.
Yeah, totally transparent. He warns them. It's tough down there from time to time. Not always, but often. He mentions rain, wind, sometimes the land cracks open, sometimes storms.
And so real challenges. It's not heaven anymore.
Definitely not. But crucially, he also says it's habitable. There are lots of fruit, nuts, and edible plants. It's almost like he's giving them the full picture, risks and rewards.
Like cosmic
prospectus, you called it earlier.
Yeah, something like that. And Eve's reaction after God gives them a sort of preview, flyover.
It's immediate.
She's just blown away, right?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Perfect. Exactly what we want.
Yeah, just to be alone for a while, something different. That phrase, something different, seems key.
It really does. This intense desire for novelty, for challenge, even when you're starting from perfection. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, about that core human drive for maybe self-reliance, adventure. Is that yearning for the unknown, for finding out what you can do on your own, just fundamental, even if it means leaving paradise behind.
It's a powerful thought. So they've seen the place, they're excited for the adventure.
Yeah.
But then reality bites, right?
Yes, the initial group enthusiasm.
Eve first suggests there are, about 10, maybe 15 friends who are keen to go on this big trip?
That's the initial number, yeah. But, well, that enthusiasm cools off pretty quickly.
People get cold feet.
Pretty much. The source says most of them backed out because of all the uncertainty, the hostile climate, darkness half the time, being away from you, meaning God.
That sounds very human.
Doesn't it? The idea of the adventure is exciting, but the actual nitty-gritty reality of hardship and, well, being away from ultimate comfort and safety, That makes staying put look pretty good to most.
Yeah, that tension between the known comfort and the unknown challenge. We see that all the time.
Absolutely. It's a classic choice.
So this filtering process, it leads to a much smaller expedition team.
Much smaller. Eve has to go back to God and say, really, God, there's just me and Adam.
Just the two of them. And I love God's description of Adam here.
It's great, isn't it?
Oh, good old Adam. Lovely man. A brave one indeed. It's so warm, almost. Paternal. It really paints these figures differently than, the usual archetypes.
It really does. And that leads to this crucial conversation.
Yeah.
The three of them finalizing the terms.
Okay.
Adam's fully on board. He hears the deal and just accepts uncertainty, surprise, challenge. He totally gets the spirit of it.
He's embracing the adventure.
And God adds a detail Adam hadn't heard yet. The animals down there, many of them are still wild.
Ah, okay. Another layer of risk. A practical warning.
A very real one. But then God offers this incredible safety net.
This part is amazing. He tells them, if they hurt you or if you have an accident, if you are killed, I'll arrange it that you come back up here in a flash, so don't worry.
Wow. So the ultimate consequence, death, is sort of taken off the table.
It seems like it, for this initial adventure at least. It removes that fundamental fear.
Which then brings us to the one condition. The deal breaker.
Right, the non-negotiable part.
God lays it out very clearly. But one thing is essential. No children.
No children.
He explains why. This is just between us three. Otherwise, things could get out of control. The place is not finished yet, understood.
Okay, that's specific. Just the three of them. The place isn't ready for more.
And they agree immediately. Sure, God? Sure, no children. We understand. They even asked anything else. God says, no, just that one thing.
Wow. Okay, so that agreement is crystal clear. No children.
Absolutely pivotal. So think about what that means, this very specific condition, especially about having kids. What does that imply about their agency? About consequence later on?
Right, if the choice to have children happens later.
It's a direct violation of this very clear, agreed-upon rule. It completely reframes how we might understand what comes next, doesn't it?
It really does. That agreement, no children, it makes you pause.
Yeah.
It fundamentally shifts, well, everything many of us thought we knew about that particular story. Okay, so let's transition now. Let's unpack this further by looking at the second part of the source material, this reflection piece on the story's wider meaning.
Yeah, the analysis.
What does this origin story, and maybe the stories that came after it, what does it all mean for us? For, Western civilization, even today?
Well, the reflection piece is really direct about it. It starts by acknowledging, look, we don't know our true origin. Each civilization tells its own story. Fair enough.
Okay, acknowledges the limits of our knowledge.
Exactly. But then makes this really bold claim. This story, and the story of all that happened afterwards, helped Western civilization to develop. It brought us here.
Wow. Okay, so a direct causal link.
That's what it posits. And it points to evidence. Things like being mostly civilized, mostly kind, mostly helpful. It mentions phones, television, cars, plenty of food for most.
Concrete societal advancements.
Right. It says, this story and the stories that followed brought us out of the Stone Age, the caves. It sees the narrative as functionally essential to progress.
And it also has this very pragmatic take on truth, which I found really striking.
Yeah, that part's interesting.
It says flat out, we'll never know the absolute truth in this life, nor even much of the details. But then right away it pivots.
To what actually matters, in its view.
Yes. But what we do know for sure, this story, this belief, the trust we have in our story works.
So it's not about whether it's historically true in a literal sense.
Apparently not. It's about its function. Does it work? Does it help us live?
Exactly. And the source goes on to explain how it supposedly works for us. It claims that because of this story, most of us learn to forgive, learn to be grateful for what we have.
Okay, practical skills for living.
And also that we can take things bit by bit and not try to tackle our whole life at once. And that most of us have learned to be somewhat tolerant. It's like describing, well, an operating system for resilience.
An operating system for life. I like that. Not just abstract beliefs, but tools for navigating the day-to-day.
Precisely. How to handle challenges without falling apart.
And it connects that to personal growth, too, doesn't it? Suggesting our story shows us how to put up with our own imperfections.
Yeah, that's a powerful idea. That maybe this narrative, at least in this interpretation, isn't about judgment or shame.
But about self-acceptance. Understanding we're flawed, and that's okay.
That seems to be the implication.
Yeah.
Accepting the human condition. And zooming out again, the source talks about the story, specifically mentioning the Bible, not as some kind of finished product, but as a process.
A process? How so?
It says, the Bible and its message is not the end. It is a process we need to go through to understand and fully function in our present age.
Ah, okay. So it's not static. It's something we have to keep engaging with.
That's the idea. Its message keeps us moving forward, replaces blame with gratitude for what we have. It's about continuous learning, adaptation. The story isn't just something to believe in, maybe, but something to live through, to keep interpreting as we evolve.
That practical side keeps coming through. It's reinforced again with a very clear statement. Our civilization, as described above, developed from it. Simple as that.
And then comes a warning.
Right. We can ignore its simple message, but that usually leads to unnecessary suffering. It's quite direct about the consequences of tuning out.
Very direct. And it gets even more concrete with some actionable advice.
Yeah, what was that?
Things like, let's not demand solutions from others. And this interesting line about financial independence. Let's treasure supporting ourselves financially. It is the greatest game in town.
Self-reliance again. Interesting connection.
It seems linked. And there's a warning about getting distracted from the stories of our civilization, suggesting that leads to behaving brutish. So a call for individual responsibility grounded in these larger narratives.
And then there's that final sort of teasing comment.
Ah, yeah, the little cliffhanger.
The full Bible is not a goody-goody story.
Yeah.
You may discover that in time. It leaves the door open, doesn't it? Hints that there's more complexity, maybe darker stuff, to explore beyond the simple interpretations.
Definitely invites further digging.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now, taking all this in? This deep dive, looking at Eve and the reflection, it kind of suggests that a story, even one we might see very differently from the usual version, can act like a powerful operating system for how we live.
Yeah, a framework.
A framework, exactly.
Yeah.
Something that guides us through the tough stuff, maybe helps us feel grateful for the good stuff, navigate uncertainty, all while kind of nudging us towards growth and accepting our own flaws.
And building on that, remember the source's closing thought. It encourages us to actively create an attitude of gratitude towards a God of your own understanding.
Right, make it personal.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. Consider that idea of rising to become man or woman, facing uncertainty, imperfection, but seeing it as this ongoing process of understanding and applying these stories. How does that challenge maybe our more fixed ideas about truth, about personal growth?
Good question.
And how might really engaging with these stories of our civilization, even the parts that are not a goody-goody story, as the source says, how might that keep shaping our journey, our attempt to, make sense out of it all in this messy, unpredictable world?